I'm scared.
You've never done it?
No.
Paris Hilton's lifelong dream of becoming a mother was fulfilled with the arrival of her 2 babies this year. But the fact that this was her dream doesn't exactly show when it comes to her questionable parenting style. Let's get into what Paris has actually been like as a mom, because the truth about her bizarre approach to parenting is honestly unbelievable. Paris and her husband Carter Room welcomed their son Fenix in January and their daughter London in November. Both babies were born via surrogacy and were kept a total secret from the public eye. In the recently released 2nd season of Paris in Love, we finally got to see Paris adjust to motherhood with her baby boy. But in many scenes, it was clear by her interactions with him that she was extremely uncomfortable. In one episode, Paris's sister Nikki was able to meet Fenix for the first time when he was a little over a month old. But what Paris confessed to her was absolutely shocking. It turns out that Paris hadn't changed any of her son's diapers up until that day. She admitted that she had been afraid to, but was ready to learn with the help of her nanny and Nikki. What happened next was seriously crazy. Paris didn't know which side of the diaper was the front or the back, which made it seem like she hadn't even been present for any of Fenix's changes. Her nanny also had to remind her to talk to her own baby. Throughout the entire scene, Paris looked so nervous, but that wasn't the only thing that she had been avoiding. Paris felt unsure about burping Fenix because she thought she was going to hurt him, so she left that up to the nanny as well. Later in the episode, Nikki gave her sister some much needed advice. Basically, Nikki told Paris that she should stop working as much. She explained that her sister definitely didn't need the money and turning down some jobs would help her bond with her son. Needless to say, the disconnect between Paris and Fenix was obvious, and not surprisingly, many viewers have since been talking about Paris's lack of involvement as a first-time parent on social media. Most people couldn't believe that until her son was a month old, she hadn't changed a single diaper. What's really insane is that many celebrities who rely heavily on the help of nannies to take care of their children still want to be parents. But unlike Paris and Carter, those people's nannies appeared to help out rather than take on the brunt of raising the children. But even though a lot of people were stunned by how much out of touch Paris appeared to be with motherhood, not everyone was surprised. Many people have pointed out that her mom, Kathy Hilton, wasn't exactly the most hands-on parent herself. In one scene from the season 2 premiere, Kathy was introduced to Fenix for the first time when he was 8 days old, although it wasn't expected because she didn't even know that he existed. How she interacted with her newest grandson was incredibly concerning. When Paris walked into the room holding Fenix, she was holding him in kind of a strange way. Most viewers chalked that up to her being a first-time mom. But when she handed her baby boy to Kathy, who's a mother of 4, things took an unsettling turn. Kathy didn't support Fenix's head or neck very well at all, which is actually really dangerous. A newborn baby can't support their own head or neck, so they're at risk of serious brain injuries if they're picked up or held improperly. At one point, Kathy even held Fenix away from her body by his armpits in order to get a better look at him. But newborn babies' shoulders and arms can get really hurt by being held that way because their muscles simply aren't strong enough yet. Kathy recently told The Wrap that the criticism she's been getting over how she held Fenix isn't fair at all. She claimed that even though she wasn't used to babies as small as him, she does know how to safely hold a baby. But is that really the case? Kathy might be the mother of multiple children, but that doesn't mean that she was the primary caregiver for all of them. And when you look at how Paris was raised, her extreme anxiety about taking care of her own baby makes so much more sense. Paris has been very open about her troubled upbringing and the trauma she experienced when she was younger. Her parents spent a lot of time at parties when she was often left with a nanny. But what happened when she was a teenager was honestly terrible. Most people already know that Paris was sent off to boarding school where she was forced into disturbing, life-changing situations by people she should have been able to trust. But the role that her parents played in that tragedy was absolutely unreal. Earlier this year, Paris shared a shocking story during an interview with the Times of London. She explained that one night when she was a teenager, she was woken up by 2 strange men who handcuffed her and literally dragged her out of her house. Paris added that she genuinely thought that her life was about to end, but when she cried out for her parents to help her, what they did was seriously mind-blowing. It turns out that Paris's parents had actually hired the men to transport their daughter to the boarding school. Apparently, while she screamed for their help, they just watched from the doorway as she was physically taken away from their home. Because of how Paris was raised and on what she went through in her childhood, the relationships she had with her parents were understandably strained. She never truly had a secure attachment to them, which obviously had an unbelievable impact on her whole life. Paris has mentioned that she's hopeful that she'll be the best mom possible to her babies, but she has also struggled with forming healthy, strong connections to people because of her tragic upbringing. Thankfully, after Fenix was born, Paris ended up making an impressive decision. In a later episode from season 2 of Paris in Love, Paris confessed to her therapist that she didn't feel responsible enough to take care of her baby boy. But the truth behind that very vulnerable moment was truly heartbreaking. Paris clearly hadn't really experienced having her emotions being validated before, and I think all first-time moms sometimes need a little reassurance. Fortunately, her therapist gave her some eye-opening insight. She explained that if Paris was capable of running a multi-billion-dollar empire, she was responsible enough to be a mother, but that wasn't her only helpful advice. The therapist told Paris that if she continued to give all of her parenting duties and authority to the nanny, Fenix would have attachment issues just like her. Later, Paris and Kathy even had a session with the therapist that appeared to be an unexpected turning point. Kathy was encouraged to be more present in her daughter's life, which the therapist claimed would help Paris feel more confident as a mom. And judging by Paris's latest post on social media, it seems like she and her mom have finally started to heal their broken bond. In the caption of one of Paris's recent Instagram posts, she wrote that she and her mom have worked through many of their emotional obstacles. She added that now they're closer than they've ever been, but that isn't the only positive news in Paris's parenting journey. In October, Paris revealed to People magazine that she's learned a lot more about motherhood. She said that she's figured out how to balance her life better, which means saying no to some work opportunities so that she can spend more time at home. Sounds like Paris has made a lot of progress as a parent over the last several months. Hopefully, she's been able to spend quality bonding time with both of her babies so that she can actually build the strong relationships she desperately wants to have with them. However, not everyone is convinced that Paris is more of a hands-on parent than she was in the questionable episodes of her show. Even though many viewers have praised her for including so much vulnerable footage of her struggles in Paris in Love, others aren't as impressed. Some social media users have claimed that Paris is probably just as emotionally detached from her babies now as she was before. They're under the impression that although her therapist sessions seemed legitimate, she's still letting her nannies raise her babies. But now that we've gotten into Paris's bizarre parenting approach, I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that things have changed and Paris just needed some reassurance and validation about her nervousness as a first-time mom? Or do you think that she's still prioritizing work over caring for her babies and spending quality time with them? Let me know in the comments below.